So we basically get booked downtown, all three of us. Me, you know what I'm saying? I'm charged with the gun. They looking at it like you sitting in a car with multiple felons with some serious crimes on their record. I know for a fact you a clean record dude. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact this ain't you. Please tell us they put you up to it. You know what I'm saying? And they was basically trying to get me to tell like who put you up to it, and I was just like, nah, it's my gun, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, nah, I can't. I don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't just. So I ended up taking the charge, and so from that time I was like, okay. I ended up getting like I ended up staying like 3 or 4 days downtown because I got transferred from where we was at to downtown. They transferred me in the cell, in the little holding cell. I basically admitted it was mine. I ain't even do all of the other stuff, even though looking back, I could have probably did it where it was like, could have pled the fifth and just kind of whatever. But I took it and was confessed that it was mine. I ended up getting transferred to downtown. My brother was like, I'm gonna bond you out. I was like, cool, man. So in between me getting booked downtown with the fingerprints and all of that, I meet this dude who, for some weird reason, he like, man, I ain't going back to jail. He telling me all his business, like, what you in here for? I'm like, I ain't even saying much like that. But he telling me like, man, I ain't going back. Such and such. I ain't going back. I ain't going back to jail. Woo, woo, woo. When I get out of here, I'm done with all that. I was like, okay. So anyway, got bonded out, and I want to say like a week or two after I got bonded out, maybe like a month or a week, I seen that same dude on the news that I was telling you about. Seen that same dude on the news booked for a vehicular homicide, and it was just like, dang, bro. Like it almost like it ain't break my heart, but it was just like this man was running from the police, basically smacked and basically took the life of his cousin that was in the car with him, running from the police. And it was just like, man, that's crazy. So my best friend, that I left school now. I'm back in the hood. Now I'm facing these charges because at the time they was still charging me. I hadn't went to trial. I hadn't went to court or nothing like that. They gave me a court date. I bonded out. So they basically was giving me like 30 days to see if I was who was gonna confess or see if I was gonna tell. But I was like, whatever, nah. So I kept going back. I had a couple court dates in between. So them sentencing me. So this was probably March 2006. My best friend, he ended up staying in Dallas or whatever at the time after he left Baton Rouge. But at home, he has a computer. Remember I told you he makes computers from scratch. So he has a computer with all the software and recording software on it. And me, I was just so depressed and so bored. It was just kind of like, man, I started back writing and all of that. So during the whole time I was facing this gun charge, I was basically using his computer, writing and recording songs on it. And so consciously knowing what the DVD thought and said, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I was kind of like, man, I just want to express myself. And just being, and I felt convicted, but it was just kind of like, I just want to just get it off my chest, man. I don't, at the time I'm carnal. I don't know nothing about the revelation or nothing like that. I'm just kind of just going through the motions. But I wanted to express myself, so I started recording with some music while I was on trial, you know what I'm saying? And so over the course of like a month or two, I had like probably 15, 16, maybe 18, 19 different songs, but they wasn't full songs, but they were still songs, couple verses, couple hooks and all of that. And I had recorded. So yeah, I was like, recording something every other night. And it was time for, what had happened was, during the trial, you know, I was trying to basically get my act together to show the judge that, I deserve a second chance. And so, hopefully if you grant me a second chance, that, if I come in with a job, you won't necessarily, hold it against me or whatever. Or maybe you can give me be more lenient. So one of my good friends, one of my best friends from elementary, ended up hooking me up with a security job working at the mall. And I was like, ironically, I'm fighting the gun charge, but yet I'm working at the mall as a security guard, and it was kind of funny to me. So I ended up getting the job, taking the job, but it was mall security, so it was only like 1 or 2 days. It was like 2 days a week, so it was barely like enough hours. But that was all I wanted, was to show the judge that, I'm working, I'm trying to get back on the right path. And one of the things that I think saved me from really seeing a harsh sentence when I initially got charged with the strap, was that I remember sitting in the detective office, and I just kind of told him, like, man, like, he asked me, like, why you need a gun? And I was just like, look at where I'm from. And then I remember telling him about how, I was in school the year earlier. I fell into some depression and just kind of found myself back in the same things that I'm trying to shake. And so I believe that God used that and gave me favor, because I ended up copping to a lesser charge, wasn't a felon, but it still was a affected charge. But it could have been worse. So they ended up telling me I had to do 36 days in the workhouse, and I think I had an unconditional release, so I didn't have to report to no PO or nothing like that. As long as I don't have any priors or any type of new charges or something like that in the next 2 years, I was good. So I copped to that. Like, okay, cool. But towards the end of the time for me to turn myself in, I was supposed to be getting more hours so I can work during the workhouse or whatever. They require you to have a certain amount of hours per week for you to get work release. And so the week that I had to turn myself in, the following week I had to turn myself in, I was actually training to get more hours so I could, just do work release and not have to necessarily be in jail. But that ain't work out.